Hey guys, and welcome back to the Questionable Scale Modeler. And I am just back from a long weekend in the Phoenix area. I had to fly out there because from Iowa to Phoenix, it's about 1,500 miles, and that is definitely not something I'm going to drive. While there, I took a road trip to Pomona, California, to the NHRA Museum, and went to the Spirit of Speed show. So the whole idea of this video is traveling with models. Uh, and in this particular instance, I had to fly with my models. And uh, anybody that's ever talked about it has always said, do not put your models in your checked baggage. Well, I did. I didn't really have a choice. I had 9 models to transport, and they are not going to fit in a really small container to put in an overhead bin. Had it been a small show, yeah, I probably could have done that, but I just wanted to see what happens. So um, stay tuned, and we're going to get into how I packed them and all that good stuff. So let's change cameras and take a look at my suitcase. Okay, so this is my suitcase, freshly back from my trip to Phoenix. And these 2 tubs are where my models are. There's 9 total. And before I left, I packed the whole inner or the outer side with 2-inch memory foam and also put some in the middle. That kept them from moving around too much, but it also allowed them to move so you didn't transfer all the kinetic energy from banging around the airplane and stuff to the inside of the models where things will break. So hopefully that fared pretty good. Inside the suitcase, you also see a 1/350th battleship that the hull fits sideways or diagonally. I've got a 1/35th scale uh, Volkswagen pickup that I thought was pretty cool. And another model that I packed was a Fujimi Enthusiast Ferrari. So we'll get into that in a little bit. So on the trip back, because I bought the models, that took up precious space. So I had no place to put my dirty clothes. So what I did is I took the foam out, threw it away, and put all my dirty clothes all the way around. It was a nice fit. Did the same job as the memory foam. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take these out because we're going to open these on camera so you can see what happened, because I really don't know. I will say that I did have some damage, but it was minimal. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So here's my direction sheet for the Volkswagen pickup. And that is from Tacom. Looks really cool. There's the box for it. So we had to flatten the boxes so they would fit. So there's that. We'll just take these out while we're doing this. And then here's a whole bunch of paperwork and stuff for the battleship. Instruction sheets, Tamiya stuff. There's more kind of visual aid for the battleship. There's a photo etch set that came with it. And then use the box. So, and one of the box and the bottom of the box. So we're going to take a stapler and fix the box. And then I got some other junk in here, model related. So you don't need to really see me how to do all that. So we're going to switch cameras and we're going to open up our models. And we're back. So this is the first of the cases, and I think it's got the race cars and the Mercury pickup in it. And before I start unboxing, uh, so it was on an airplane and checked baggage for 3,000 miles round trip. And because of the road trip to Pomona, plus going here and there, it survived a car ride of about probably 600 miles. So let's find out what happened. I did have some damage when I got to Phoenix, but it was just minimal things like a mirror fell off here. The bumper on the Mercury pickup did come off, but once it was re-glued, I think it stayed. We'll find out here in a minute. And so it was just small things like that. No catastrophic damage that couldn't be repaired in a couple of minutes, and then the model's put on the table. So let's take all this off, see what kind of disaster we have. Well, this is on top. We'll start there. This is the bed liner to my Mercury pickup, and it is very dirty, which kind of shocked about these microfiber cloths usually are pretty clean because they're made for lenses. I don't know why, but the vinyl that I used on this, my paint, which is lacquer, is kind of tacky. Not sure why, but I'm retiring the model, so it's going to go back in the case where it'll never be seen again. So, let's see. Mercury pickup. So the hood is in here because it's not a hinged hood. So that's all really good. And just to let you know, the emblem, if you can see it shining like that, that is airbrushed Molotow cut with hardware store lacquer thinners, so it flashes off much faster. It did not rub off at all. So that's good. We will set that aside. Now let's get the pickup out. See what's going on. So I did put a layer of t-shirt material in between the paint and the foam. Normally I don't do that when I'm transporting in my car to closer shows because they're not really in there that long. But being as I knew this was going to be an extended period of time, it was suggested on one of my posts to do this, and so I did. So very carefully, we will take it out and inspect everything. Bumpers are in place. I don't see anything loose in the engine compartment. I don't see anything loose in the inside. We did lose a mirror, and that mirror was on there before we packed back up. Oh, there it is right there. It just fell out of that foam. So let me grip some tweezers, and we'll grab that piece of foam. Or grab the mirror, because it is a pinned mirror. So, well, actually, I didn't pin it. It looks like it's just the kit pin. And what we'll do right here on camera, because I just happen to be here. Actually, I'm not going to fix it right now. We don't have to. So we'll put our bed liner back in, get our hood back on, because it is held on with magnets. And I'm always wondering, hang on a second, I got to do something with my computer. I'll be right back. My computer is telling me that the battery is low. So let me get it plugged in and we'll click on that. All right. So here's a shout out to model judges. So I've got a magnet there and a magnet there. My curiosity is, do y'all see that and think that's a blemish and do you count off for it? I'd like to know that because in my descriptions I always put that I have magnets. So I always wonder. So anyway, this model, one broken or one mirror fallen off. Uh, the rear bumper had fallen off, but as you can see, it's still attached. So I'm going to call that a win. So we'll set this aside and we'll move on to the next model, which is the Toyota Supra. And well, looks like we have a winner. Looks like we have a tire that came off. So that's not a big deal. That can be re-glued. And I will say that the suspension is loose in this model, but it was actually loose when I packed it. For some reason, it came loose a long time ago, but when you sit it down, it goes right back to where it should be. So I'm not too concerned about that. Both mirrors are in. My license plate is still on. So, except for this one wheel, that's pretty minimal. So, next up, hopefully the chair rolling across the room isn't that big a deal. So, next up is the Mercedes. Now, another thing to note, so these pieces of foam are actually glued to the bottom. And the reason for that is if you have a model with mirrors or something that's sticking out of the side, you want to make sure that there's a piece of foam along the body to protect it from hitting that mirror on the foam. That increases your survivability rate of the mirrors. So pretty basic, uh, pretty pretty basic packing advice, but something that can get overlooked. So this, as I showed earlier, actually I didn't show it yet. Um, the wing, I did not glue the wing on the model because I knew I was going to transport it to shows. So there's the wing. It survived. So there's a tip if you're going to transport a model that's got a wing like a race car, don't glue the wing on. You can just, if you can. Some models you can't do that. So we'll set that off to the side. All the mirrors are still on. These canards, I think is what they're called. Those are only held on with super glue, and they are still on there. I am really amazed at that because there is not a lot there to hold it. All this is resin, and all that is looking really good. So there's another win. There is literally nothing broken on this, and there's a lot of resin parts to break. So we will put that off to the side, and we'll continue. Put our wing over here. So next up, take more of this foam out. is the Porsche 917 Golf livery. So on this one, there's that is a windshield wiper. And it looks like it might have actually come from the Porsche. Let me go look at the Mercury, see if that had any damage. Nope. Yep, this is a piece of the windshield wiper off of the Porsche. And yep, you can see that it's off right there. No big deal. Other than that, there is no damage, which is really incredible because this little spoiler wing thing here is only held on by super glue and nothing more. So, but here's something that I did is I made a piece of foam that is the shape of the body to kind of help hold it. So there's that. We'll set that car off to the side. And our mirror, we'll put it over there so it can be reattached later. I'm going to take all those parts in the back of the pickup. Because that's what you do with pickups. You put parts in the back. Alright, so all this go to the side. We're done with this box. I'm going to check it one last time for parts that I didn't see. Always a good idea to verify that there is no parts in here before either throwing it away or whatever. So, and I actually got this taped in here. Well, let's see. Let's just take this off. Oh, I see something. I'm not sure what that is. There's a little thing right there. That looks like a hook. So that might be off the Mercedes. I'm not entirely sure. So let's come over here and take a look. Okay, I am not entirely sure. That is a photo etch piece because I can see the metal coming from it, but nothing that was in this box had something like that in there. Anyway, we're not going to waste any more camera time about that. So for now, we're just going to put all this foam back in here, making sure I don't have any more parts that are floating around. That all looks good. And that's all good. Nothing there. Nothing there. Make sure nothing's wrapped up inside anything. And that case is done. All right, so case number 2. And there's a mirror right there. But this was not a shocker, and I will tell you in a minute when we get to the model uh, why it was not a shocker. So first of all, we have the Porsche 959. Actually, first we have Robbie the Robot, and he is still in good shape. We'll set him over here, out of the way. Let's wiggle this Porsche out carefully. And mirror came off, but it's on a pin. So it actually came off in Phoenix. And I put a little brass, not brass, a copper pin. And so I can easily put that back on. Nothing broken in there. Door handles are all on. Nothing really loose. So license plates are still on. That's a win. Okay, so next up is the model that I had the most problem with, but to be fair, it's not something that travels very well. So, and there is a set of dual tires that came off of it, which, as you can see, it's got a little square peg there. So this will go on with just a little bit of Tamiya glue and it's done. So even though it did have damage, it wasn't anything too severe. And that is this ICM German pickup. It was very fragile, but overall, I think we did a good job packing it. So let's get all the foam around it off, and we'll take a look. Don't want to rip my license plates off. So, got to be careful picking this up because the bed is 100% real wood that I designed on my Silhouette cutter. So I definitely want to make sure that I don't break any of the wood off. So, yep. So the fender came loose, but I'm not surprised. The other fender is also skewed a bit, but considering that the fenders are only held on by 4 little long pieces. Like, there's not a lot of bite where they get glued on. The other thing that broke, so Saturday at Model Zona, one of the steps to get into the truck had fallen off, and to make things go faster, I just took the other one off so at least it would match. And then looks like that is something that goes over here on the side of the truck. Well, there goes the fender. Grab that real quick. All right, so as you can see, there's 4 posts that hold that fender up. So no problem. I can re-glue it. It'll go back in the case and won't be seen. So a lot of this happened on the way back. So I'm not sure. Oh, it's a handle. It's a grab handle that is, let me grab something else to point with. There's a grab handle right there by the driver's door handle. And this one came off. But if you've built ICM before, you know that they don't really give you a lot of mounting for these. They're really small. But so that broke off. And then let's see if there's anything else. I don't see anything else. So one set of tires, fenders, a grab handle for the door. But interesting note, I did not do the hood separate, and it's only held on by magnets. So I still consider this one a win. That's bent a little bit. I think it looked really good. The doors, neither door is actually glued on this model. It's basically just lightly pressed in. If you took a sharp toothpick or something, you could take the door off, but they didn't come off. More importantly, my mirror is still on the door. Yay! So that's a win. So we'll put all our parts in the back of the truck. And we will set that aside. So the next one, I told myself I would never take this to one of the models that I would never take to a show because of how brittle it is. This is a Zoom On Models 1/24 scale Peel P50. And it has a trailer, but I never take the trailer with it because the trailer has lights that will never survive. But I took it just for fun. I built this a long time ago, but the mirror is broken off. And that was the mirror that was on the very top of the container. It broke off Saturday when I was unpacking them for Modelzona, and I kind of left it off. There's no way to glue that because you got to sit there. It's basically, there's no mounting pin. You just got to have to hold it, and I just didn't feel like doing it. I was beyond it. So we'll set that off to the side. And last, well, almost last, take a look at this guy here. This one is another one that I said that I'd never travel with it again. This is a 1/72nd scale fire truck from a Ukrainian company called Ace Models. And it is another very, very brittle model because there is two glass pieces that are lights for the back. And over the years of showing this, these lights have gotten smaller, or not smaller, they've gotten shorter over time because every time one of them breaks, I have to re-drill the hole and remount them. So I took a big chance. It also has mirrors, but more importantly, if the camera will show it, it has three very, very tiny photo etch wiper blades, and they are all still on. This is a very good win for the packing. And finally, the last model in the boxes is my Lost in Space Chariot. So, and it has all kinds of stuff on it. I had to specifically put stuff to where this mirror wouldn't, or this radar wouldn't come off. And this little sensor here wouldn't come off. And my figures are still in place because they are pinned with really good thick pins. So I am very happy about this. Nothing came off of it. So put this off to the side. There's one of my steps for my pickup. Somewhere in here there should be another step, unless it found its way to the carpet. Oh, there's the mirror from my Porsche. take this off. See what else we can find under here. There's the other step for my German pickup. And there's that. So, in conclusion for this step, we just had a mirror brake here and a mirror brake there and a step or two, some wheels, all very minimal damage, very fixable. So let's cut to the other camera. All right, so in conclusion, should you put your models in checked baggage? Well, if I had my choice, I would say no. But you got to remember that if you put your models in a case and you put it in the overhead bin, they're still going to get banged around, I think, just as much, because you've got other people putting their overhead baggage next to your model, and people don't give a crap about your stuff. So you're going to take your chances either way. The important thing is to make sure that you pack them to where they have a little bit of movement, so you don't have all that built up energy transferring into the center of your car where all of the small bits are. Because I had nothing broken on the insides of my cars, nothing loose. It was all like a wheel here, a wheel there, mirrors, small stuff that you kind of expect to break, but no real disasters. So I'm calling it a win. It will not be the last time I transport on aircraft, but it's definitely more difficult to pack than your typical road trip, which mine are usually 2 to 4 hours. I did not pack this in one day. I took a solid week, a lot of trial and error. Well, not really error, but a lot of test fitting on see how the cars would fit. Normally, if I'm just going across the state or somewhere in driving distance, the cars are in the container facing up, obviously. But when you're on an aircraft, you don't necessarily have to worry about which way is up. If you're putting them on an overhead bin, sure, you can do that. But keep in mind, depending on how your case is, this flight attendant may come along and take your flat container you've got up there and tip it on its side to allow more room. And you really, I don't know, there's a lot of gray area in what you can do in an aircraft, but they pretty much are in charge. So I wouldn't take that chance. Pack your models accordingly to where it doesn't matter if the box is upside down, on its side. Just take the precaution. Don't assume that it's going to stay upright. So with that said, I think it was a win. And let me know in your comments your advice. See anything that I missed. And that will do it. Talk to you later. Bye.